So hello everyone. So welcome to another video on my YouTube channel Soul by Soul. So from today we're going to start a series of videos which are going to be formal discussion topic videos in which we are going to discuss on important aspects related to coronavirus, finance, marketing and a lot more. So today I have my friend Devine with me. Uh, Devine, welcome to my channel Soul by Soul. So today he is a writer and a content creator himself and a very active blogger. So today he is here with us to discuss on a very important point related to COVID lockdowns, that how like in 5 ways that we can actually think of how a small business can survive during a lockdown. So we have already seen that a lot of people do struggle when the first lockdown was in place in last year and this year also. Suppose no one wants a lockdown, but we don't know if there is a lockdown. So we just wanted to highlight a few points that has been researched by him, and I think it will be of great help to all of you. So without wasting much more time, let's start with the video. So before starting the video, I'll do the honors of introducing my friend Devine. So he was a budding engineer with me at university, and after that he has completed his MBA from IIM, and then he has been working in the corporate. So currently he is working as a freelancer, and he also runs a blog titled Devine Writes, where he discusses on various topics related to business and marketing. So Devine, once more, very warm welcome to Soul by Soul. So
Yeah, hello Shoradeep. Thank you for having me here. I'm delighted and I'm really looking forward to have an insightful conversation today. So let's start.
yeah, sure. And before we start, I want to say everyone that we should always follow COVID protocols before going out, because many of you might be seeing us and you see that we are not wearing our mask, but to make it clear, we are actually very much sitting within oneself in a room, so we don't have anybody less than 6 feet near us. So that's why we are not wearing a mask. And please ensure that you always buy a mask and use a clean mask every time you step out. So with that in place, let's start the video. So Devine, what is the topic? So can you just give a brief introduction of today's topic?
Yeah, so the topic is 5 simple ways small businesses can survive in another lockdown. Now, the idea behind this blog was we have seen lockdown last year, right? We have experienced lockdown, we have experienced a slowing economy, we have seen how small businesses get affected by lockdown, how they run into loss, they have to shut down their shops, they lose out their revenue channels. So when this year the states were implementing lockdowns, and there was a possibility of a nationwide lockdown, or maybe lockdown across states, in every state adopting lockdown in their own way. So I thought this year somehow the businesses shouldn't suffer. I wanted the businesses to run and to have some revenue, some ways in which they can keep up with their income, keep the cash flow coming in. So with my knowledge and my experience in the market, I jotted down 5 points. And I wrote them in my blog, and then I decided that it has to reach to a wider audience, which is why I approached you for a collab, because videos have a larger audience than blogs, and this topic needed to reach to the audience, needed to reach to the small businesses. So yes, that is why, with that intention, I had written the blog, and with that intention, I came to collab with you. And I hope the intention behind this video and this blog reaches to its uh, goal, reaches to its intended audience, and people get benefited by this video.
Yeah, I think absolutely. I think our main intent to make this video or a series of new videos that are going to come up in my channel, most of them will be intended for like more informative and like to make people also be aware of how to go through these very tough times ahead, like COVID and everything. And like all the things have changed. Like now our lifestyles have completely changed. Even me, we can have this discussion in front of a camera sitting at a cafe or a bar maybe, but now we are sitting inside our rooms and doing this virtually. And so yeah, so everything has changed a lot, and that's why we need to change ourselves also. And I think that is what you have tried to mention in your blog, and how we can actually get ourselves used to these new norms, like new normal, which we normally say all the time, new normal, quote unquote. So we have to get ourselves used to this change in our lives. And I think today's discussion will be very much helpful to every one of them who wants some ideas, like some of the ideas that you have researched, because you have like an MBA background. So I think we can actually help some of them. Okay, so without wasting much time, I think we can go on to the topic, and let's start with the first point. So I will start to, I'll introduce the first point with the audience. So you have said that you can start to do a door-to-door, like a home delivery of goods for all the people out there. So yeah, you can just explain a bit on that, like how we want to do it in a different way than a lot of big giants, like Amazon or Flipkart or Grofers they're doing. So there will be some ways that we can actually get it done more easily, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, so the basic thing which every business should do is they should start their delivery. Now, how they do it and how will their delivery be different from e-commerce giants like Amazon or Grofers? So, firstly, e-commerce giant have a long chain. You order, they buy, they procure, and then they deliver, and then you pay. What happens with small businesses is that they are one call away. You call them, and if they have the products in the inventory, they will deliver it to you. So, process time is reduced. Your the small businesses can survive. They can reach their customers, they can deliver to their customers, and they can get the payment in a very short time. So small businesses, when it comes to delivery, have greater advantages than e-commerce. Small businesses, if they can encash on this delivery system, if they can develop a delivery system, if they can develop a process to take in orders, if they can somehow create an environment for delivery, then I think small businesses will be able to get more revenue than they would have got if they had only shop without any delivery services. So door-to-door delivery is the first thing every small business should focus on during lockdown.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely correct, because I'd like to say that the point that you mentioned, that the big giants, they have a lot of lead and lag time before they can actually give your product to you. So in that way, a small business can be a call away, or like in WhatsApp text away, and they can come to your house. So in that way, I think it can make a difference. And also, that sometimes due to this COVID, there has been some norms that you can only order a few things online, because Amazon has been banned to like has been said to only deliver the most needed
Essential.
supplies. Yes, during these times of COVID, because and people do a lot of panic buying. So one of them might place like an order of 2 weeks or 3 weeks maybe. In that way, everyone will be waiting for a week for getting simple things to their home. So in this way, I think the small business can take this way more faster before the giants can actually deliver it. So okay. So thanks for this, and I just have a small question. So I think most of the viewers might have the same also. So how do you think that because of a small business you are saying about here, because like one person who is running the shop, so he's the person who is procuring goods maybe from larger warehouse, and he brings and he sells the goods. So will that be very easy for someone who is not used to this online thing to set up all these activities by himself? And even if you say that he can hire somebody, but if he's not making enough profit, because the margins are low, and the number of sales, basically they make more money by the number of things they sell at the shop. So now their sales have gone down. So what do you say about it? How can they develop a system of this home to home chain of
Uh,
delivering goods?
See, there are many ways to do that. Firstly, in case of full lockdown, your customers won't be able to come to you anyway. So, in order to sustain your business, you need to reach to them. So, you need to either go yourself or send someone or hire someone to do that. And in case of partial lockdown or hourly lockdown, what you can do is in the off hours, you can shut down your shop and do your delivery businesses then. Or you can hire someone either in the family, someone who is capable of working, an able-bodied person can do the delivery business in anyone's family. And in case there is no one to support your business in the delivery uh, part, so what you can do is you can hire some local youth who has been unemployed recently due to lockdown. There are many car cleaners who are unemployed. There are many sanitation workers. There are many receptionists, local club receptionists. So they all will be looking for work. Caretakers in housing complexes. So they are looking for work. They will be more than willing to work for you at a smaller commission. So the fact you said about lower revenues, lower profit, higher revenue and higher profit will come only when you have sales, when you do sales, when you sell your product. And to sell your products in a lockdown, you need to improve your delivery system. So having giving a cut to the delivery persons is much more wiser, I think, than not doing business at all. So delivery has to be there. It is the basic step you need to do if you want to survive in lockdown.
Yeah, I think you are absolutely right on that, because there are many jobs that has been wiped out currently, such as, like a guy cleaning a car and all those stuff. So yes, they can actually work on these jobs to actually bring like the items from the shop and give it to the home and everything. So in that way, they can also make some bucks and do a living. So you are absolutely correct. So yeah, so that's a great point. And okay, so let's move on to our second point, I think. And what I see is that this is a very interesting point that you have written, that you can actually be friends with your customers, and in that way you can maintain like a good relation maybe with them, and you can send them friend request, or you have them on your WhatsApp groups, maybe something like that. So yeah, so you can just throw more light on that topic.
Yeah, the name I have given is it will start with a friend request. Now the catchy name is given. Uh, Friend request is a metaphor here. What I mean to intend is to use the power of social media. You know, with lockdown, people will consume more and more web content, more and more with their mobile phones, either social media content or OTT platform. Their screen time will increase with lockdown, with people not having anywhere to go. So in that time, if you want to grab their attention, their mobile is the place you need to attack. What you can do is start them friend request, have them on your WhatsApp, uh, follow them on the places where you can follow them, like Instagram. So, and DM them about your products, about your inventory, ask them whether they need anything or not. So even if they don't need anything, then when they need, they will be able to recall your business. And because you have been doing business with them, they have been buying from you, the trustworthiness is there. And with the amount of recall through social media, you will be able to make sales when your customer needs you. So social media is a powerful tool which you can use. And also the thing you said about WhatsApp groups, as a shopkeeper, you can have groups and you can add your customers, update them about your products, or a bunch of shopkeepers can come together, form their group, and then they, promote their products, promote their services, reach out to customers, pool their resources, and um, again, reaching out to customer, making sales, giving them products. So surviving. So social media is really a powerful tool that I think that needs to be encashed upon.
Yeah, I think That's absolutely correct because I have also seen, that Facebook has a place known as Marketplace where people do give a lot of sales or buy requests for random items, maybe uh, old vehicle to an old appliance and all those things. So you can actually also use that space, and whoever is nearby, he or she can get notified on their phone if they have an interest in that, and in that way it will be easy for them to connect. Yeah, it's like very much how to say. I know that a lot of businesses have actually survived because many of the businesses such as who used to print like shirts, like fancy tees, or like to make some like cosmetic products or something like that, they are actually surviving totally on social media content because they are mostly promoting their like their things through a lot of Instagram influencers, maybe, or maybe YouTuber. And so this is how actually I know that things are going on after the lockdown, because once there is a lockdown, nobody comes, and so how much ad may be there outside, how many flakes you may be put on the roads, but it's of no use because no one is coming out. So I just have one follow-up question on this. That do you think that it will be very easy for someone, because the shopkeepers might not be well versed with using social media, and to use it and then find someone and like interacting with them, how do you think that how much difficult it can be? Because I know that many shopkeepers do know you by face, but sometimes not exactly your name. So they need to do something to get your name and then maybe be a friend and then chat. Yeah. So how do you see how difficult it can be?
Uh, Rightly said that many people know us by face. Many shopkeepers will know their customers by face, but not their name. So what they can do is they can ask them names or be friends with one of them. Then the suggestion, Facebook algorithmic suggestions will come that people you may know. Then they can see their photos, recognize them, send them friend request. So in this way they can increase their reach, and social media is everywhere. If they are not on one particular medium, they may be in somewhere else, so they need to adopt to another media to reach out to their customers. Social media has wide opportunities. So I think even if it is not easy, a little adoption is required from their end. I think they should do it because the internet is cheap for everyone, and even cheaper handsets are available. So why not? At least they can use WhatsApp. If nothing, no friend request works, they can at least take the numbers of their customers, save it by their apartment number if they don't give names, and then they can chat on WhatsApp. They can personal message them. They can update about products, take orders. Everything can be done through WhatsApp, because calling may be done once in a while, but WhatsApp you can just pick your phone and copy paste the message to all the customers. So messaging is an easier way social media than social media. Social media is no doubt easier, but what WhatsApp and messaging platforms are also easier. So you can use that one also in case you feel that Facebook, Instagram is not helping your business. So there are opportunities.
Yeah, exactly. I think one more thing which I can add on to this is that the shopkeeper needs to be more proactive, that
Yeah. Their
to
business, and they need to
to
be
take the
proactive.
numbers and like to actually be caring about them and asking them that please do give your number so that we can approach you more quickly, may help you in your needs, because many people doesn't want to go out of their home. So if somebody gives them the options that we can actually give all the goods the same way that you purchase from a shop, then I think they can actually go on to this WhatsApp platforms and a lot many more social platforms, and they can
Absolutely.
use this more good for, like it will be more good for both of them, I think. Yeah, I think that's a good point that you made, and I hope they make a good use of these platforms. So now the third point, what I saw is I think the most important and the most concerning point, because like elderlies are the most vulnerable ones during this COVID because of their age, and they are the ones, those are who were getting infected the most from the start of the pandemic till date, and they are the ones who are losing their lives. So I think you have made a great point of how to reach out to the elderly. So can you please say more on this topic?
Uh, yes, they were being affected in the first wave, the elderlies, the people with low immunities.
Yes.
But thanks to vaccination, now they are being, protected to some extent. But the fact that there are many elderlies who are living alone, away from their children, away from their younger relatives, in another city or in the same city, but in different places where reaching out is not possible. So in that case, it is the shopkeeper's job to reach out to them. Now, why I'm mentioning elderlies separately, because they are a segment who are often neglected in other businesses. You can have you can see any e-commerce platform. They either are dedicated solely to the elderlies, or they are for general population without any extra service for the elderlies. But so elderlies remain a neglected segment in many businesses. Um which is why that remains as an what do you say, untapped market for the businessman to reach out to. And see, and based on consumer psychology, old people, they prefer one-stop solution. They don't want to go to this place, that place, for one place for their medicines, one place for their another thing. So they want to go to just one place where they get everything. And once they are satisfied with a particular customer shop, with a particular business, they tend to be a loyal customer. So now you are understanding why that is an market business should focus on. Because if you reach
Yeah,
to them, not
yeah.
everyone is technologically aware, right? So if you reach to them, you will have their businesses. Their basket size may be small, they consume less, but they will be a loyal customer. They will be recurring customer. They will buy your products more often. And if you can reach out to them, well and good. And
Yeah. I think it's a very important point that you said, is that they are going to be the most loyal customers, and that's very true to the fact, because however cheap Flipkart or Amazon may sell a phone, I know that they will always prefer to buy a phone from the shop. So this is how their buying works. Like, they always prefer to see the unit, or like see the product, feel it in the hands, and then buy, because they have been doing so for the last maybe 50 years. So these are things just came maybe 10 years back. So you are absolutely correct that most of the marketing that are being done by Amazon or Flipkart, that doesn't reach to these like the elderlies, because they are not using all these apps. And maybe if there is a help, like, you can actually have your like food ordered on Zomato. But I know many of them who are like 60, 65, they will not know if there is an
yes,
app known as Zomato. They knows that there is some way that you can buy food online, but they are not well versed with the app. So yeah, so for someone to use an app and to make a payment through a card, maybe, so that it's contactless, will be very much difficult. So if someone can tap to this group, which is more or less is like neglected for most of the times, because like, they are not the huge consumers, as you mentioned, so they might be using very less, like consuming much less than the normal people. So yeah, so this is a very good point. And I think I can say one more thing, that because most of the elderly are living alone, like they
mm.
may be having
According to an Agewell Foundation status in 2018, 25% of the elderly in Delhi live alone. So that's only
yeah,
Delhi
exactly,
status.
yeah.
So you can integrate it towards the nation. I mean, the amount will be huge. The number of elderly living alone is huge. I mean, especially in the metro
Yes,
cities.
yes,
So
yes.
that's a very wide market. I mean,
Yes, and that due to this COVID now, the population, like them, are actually all their help, maybe their home, the maids that they had, who have been doing all the cleaning and cooking, maybe they're not coming because I know many of them, due to their own safety first, they are actually stopping people from coming. So in that way, they have to do all the things by their own. So you don't expect elderly of 70 to go out and buy things from outside. So yeah, I think most of them are actually getting their things done in one way or the another. But I think if we can, as you said, that we can make this one much streamlined, that we can have someone who can actually approach them and can say them that, hey, we can help you and please give us what all things you require and we'll give it to your home. So in that way, it will be much more streamlined for both the parties, and you will have a loyal customer base, and also they will know that there is a place that they can go, and if they want something, they can just give you a text or a call maybe, and you are there for their help. So yeah, so it's a great idea, I think. So well done with this point. So with this, let's move on to the fourth point. So the fourth point is very important point from the point of from the view of a shopkeeper, because this is regarding panic purchase. So how do you think that he or she can actually manage this thing smoothly? Because many times, there are only few items that people come and just take from your shop, maybe sanitizer or mask or tissues. This was what was happening at the beginning of the pandemic. I remember that every big malls, maybe in India or the US, they were all running out of stocks of toilet paper rolls or masks. So like very common items, but yeah, how do you cope up with it? So what do you say?
See, panic purchasing happened last year, and going by human nature, it will happen again.
Yes.
People fearing commodities getting over, they will order more. They will buy more at one time, and they will start hoarding products. So that becomes an issue for the shopkeeper because of the bullwhip effect. They can, get a spike in their order, and then they will multiply that and tell them to their supplier. Supplier will again multiply that and order the wholesale in a much larger amount. So when it finally reaches to the manufacturers, the amount he or she will have to deliver it to the wholesaler will be insurmountable and will have no relation to the market reality, the actual demand. So to stop this effect stop this forest fire, what the shopkeeper needs to do is needs to politely turn down customers who ask for more than their usual basket size, or they try to hoard their products, or they try to, you know, buy all the stock that is present. So the customer the shopkeeper needs to tell the customer that at present you need to please buy only the amount that is required for next 2 weeks or next 1 month, or please buy the order amount that you buy in one frequency. So that I can provide my products to many customers, because many people are dependent on me. So what will happen is that you will sell, the number of products you will sell remains constant, but with the same number of products you're satisfying a wider customer base, and they will come back once their product is over. When their products like FMCG, when the shelf life is over, it is totally consumed, they will come back and they will purchase that product again. And again, you should what do you say, damp the panic, damp the spike in demand, and moderate their choices, and what do you say, give only limited products to them, so that you have some backup for many people. So yeah, to accommodate panic purchase, you need to turn down customers who ask for
Yeah,
impossible
exactly.
amounts.
I think what you are saying is absolutely correct, because in a country like India, there is a lot of hoarding that goes on, because whoever has the money, he or she
It's a
can
global
just
phenomenon, not just in India. In US, you
yeah.
see with the college
So
papers. So it's a
no,
global phenomenon.
in India, what I would say is the difference is that we have the richest and the poorest. So there is not an average. So a rich guy, if he or she comes to a mall, he can just take off all the like the rolls, like all the masks and all the sanitizers and all those things, because he has money, so he can just buy it. So I think this is not only related to a shop, but this is what I've seen in the last 1 year, where like people are just stockpiling. There is no requirement of so much of stocks, because like buying a sugar, like I've seen people buying a container of sugar. So nobody uses sugar for like so much of sugar in a week maybe, but people are just buying. So you are correct that we need to stop this practice that you cannot actually like buy whatever you like because you have just money. You just don't need to buy and keep it at yourself, because these things are getting limited. Because if you want to buy more and more, you are actually not consuming, but you are going to waste that, because you are not going to eat more. Maybe you just want to safeguard yourself that, okay, I need to keep a very good amount of stock here so that it's safe for me, and if there is a lockdown. But if there is a lockdown, I am very sure that every government will ensure that all the very much essential items, like which we say is are like maybe food items, maybe the medicines, maybe groceries, like I told, like food items, or like something like juices, or like some spices, everything. So these are always there. Like you will not be in a situation that you have no food, no water to drink, and nothing, and you will die. So that is not going to happen. But if you are not following any COVID rules, and if you have a COVID, then you might actually be in a more deadly situation than this,
Yeah,
because
so
this
you have
is,
rightly pointed out that there is a economic gap, a wide economic
yes,
gap, which is why the haves will try to have and the have
yes,
not will not have.
not have,
So
yes,
the
exactly,
shopkeeper then need to balance them, do so that everyone has something. Yeah, the shopkeepers
yes,
need to
yes,
ensure that
yes,
to bring a
definitely,
balance. They
definitely.
have to act as a balancing agent now. Yes, so that's what I'm saying. You need to turn down customers who do panic
Yeah, and
purchase.
and also I think in some of the cases you need to also manage your supply and demand. Maybe that a shop which was selling groceries, and he's starting to keep a mask or some like tissues to his shop. So if he just has like 10 boxes, it will be just done in a day. So he just need to, when he needs to increase the supply of those, because those are getting out more fast, and he needs to decrease some of the supplies which are not actually being used. Maybe some
Yeah,
like
with
perfumes, like there might be less sell of perfumes, or some like crockery sets in the shops maybe. So he can turn down those supplies, and he can actually maintain his supplies as per the demand. Like he needs to shift his business maybe a little bit here and there, but
Yeah,
like
so
you
demand
cannot.
forecasting will be an issue for the businesses initially, but see,
Yeah, I
lockdown is
think
temporary.
with
So
time,
even if
yes.
perfumes, crockery sets do not sell, but uh, they need to stop buying. Anyway, during lockdown, only essentials will be logistically
Exactly.
supported.
Yeah.
So masks, sanitizers, FMCGs will only sell. So
Yeah. Yeah.
there is not much
They
concern
need to cut
regarding.
down. They need to cut down on whichever is not required, and they need to increase the
Yeah,
ones that are
it will
getting sold out.
automatically be cut down because the
Yeah.
lockdown will ensure that no non-essential goods are transported
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
sold.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
not a big issue for now for during lockdown. Maybe later when the consumers stop buying perfumes at all, then they need to they need to
Yeah.
decide then. But for
Nobody
lockdown,
is
I
going
don't think
out.
that will be an
So
issue. Mm.
yeah, I think till the time there is lockdown, there will be many things that will not be there. Like you may say, like a lot of beauty items maybe of no use, because nobody is going out. So yeah,
You
in
don't
that
know.
way.
People may prefer using beauty products before Zoom calls, so they may be there. You don't
Yeah,
know.
that might be. Okay, so let's not discuss further on that. So okay, so I think that's a great point that we discussed, that this type of things has to be taken care, and we should ensure that everyone has some supply of all the required goods, and this is our part to play, and we also have to be responsible by ourselves. We cannot just go to the shop and buy all those things because we just have money. So yeah, so that's a very good point. So let's move on to the next and the last point, and that will be on the marketing. So how do you think that like a small shop maybe in your locality can do marketing for himself? So what do you say about
Uh,
it?
the last point I have focused on, emphasized on, is word of mouth marketing. Okay, now Even Jeff Bezos agrees that word of mouth marketing is the strongest form of marketing and it is the cheapest. I mean, there are TV commercials, there are internet videos, internet advertisements, there are content out there, but nothing beats the capability or the potency of word of mouth marketing. And being a local shop, a trusted business in their locality, in their particular niche, I think the shopkeepers can encash on them. They can request their customers to promote them or to support them with their friends, with their relatives, talk about their products, how satisfying their services are, and how they are going an extra way in order to help them. So so word of mouth marketing is the one thing they can hold on to, because doing a print advertisement or doing television commercial won't be feasible. It is never feasible for local shop owners. So word of mouth marketing is the one they need to depend on, they need to encash on.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
like they can't because it's all online, so there is no chance that they can compete with the giants because
See,
they have
it was
spent the
never
millions
about it is never
competing.
about
Yeah, exactly.
head on
Yes,
collision with Amazon and Grofers, Big Basket. They can never do that. See,
yes.
there is a concept in marketing called guerrilla marketing, coined by Al Ries and Jack Trout in their book Marketing Warfare. So what they describe guerrilla marketing as that if you are not a market leader, you should not behave as a market leader, firstly. And secondly, if you are a small player, if you are a local player, you need to carve out your own niche in a particular demography, in a particular geography, and be the market leader of that geography. That is guerrilla marketing, and word of mouth helps in guerrilla marketing like no other. So that is what I want the small businesses to focus on: guerrilla marketing, to do extensive marketing, extensive promotion in the cheapest possible way in their local niche, so that they are the go-to persons, go-to businesses whenever the customers need anything. So yeah, those were the last point that I focused on was word of mouth marketing, because uh, the possibilities of word of mouth marketing is immense.
Yeah, like I can say some of the experience that when you go to a shopkeeper and if he's well known to me and if he's saying that this is a good one and you should take this, so we just take that. We don't think twice because we have been going to the shop for maybe 2 years, 3 years, and we know that whatever he has supplied to us is a good one. Like never he has done something that it went
Yeah.
wrong. So in that way he can actually like play a vital role in us in actually selecting some of the products maybe. So in that way, you are absolutely right that if you have that belief, then it's very easy for someone to sell things. So in that way, this is like how to say, very important aspect to sell something to a customer. So you're absolutely correct in that way. So yeah, I think so because I think it's a long video now, so let's try to
Yes,
conclude
let's wrap it
now.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, so let's conclude. So how do you think that all these 5 points what you have discussed, so do you think it will be like an easy one, because these are something that needs to be taken up by someone, and then they need to think at which place they can actually change to actually to come up like to adapt to this changing new normal, because they need to do some changes. As I said in the beginning, you need to do experiments in this period, because if you stay the same, there has been a lot of companies which we know, like Nokia, which didn't try to change, but then it got
Mhm.
like thrown out of the market. So you have to actually change as per your demands, and then you have to deliver on those demands. And so what do you think that how easy will this be to be done, and can these be implemented by a small shopkeeper who hasn't have much experience, and like he's just a simple like a shopkeeper selling like bringing and selling his things. So how do you think that these can be implemented by someone?
See, any business, big or small, needs to adapt to changing consumer behavior. And due to COVID, the dynamicity of consumer behavior has increased. They are changing their behavior more frequently. So the businesses also need to adopt um, more easily, more rigorously. They have to be more agile. So they have to change. Easy or not, adoption to new techniques is the one every business, small or big, need to do. I believe every step is doable, and if done properly, it will help them survive in this lockdown. They have all the possibilities in front of them. They only need to understand their plus point, and they need to encash on it. And they need to bypass their minus point so that only their plus point is highlighted, and the people come to them for their pluses. Even if the opportunity is very little, they can work it out and they can grow. They can start slow and then they can expand on it. I have written another blog titled Rafiq the Retailer, wherein I discuss how a small retailer survived and grew during lockdown. That's a true story, and I've changed the name. So you can read that and learn how the character Rafiq was able to, how he started, had humble beginning, and with the increase in population, how he reached out to the people, how he used every opportunity that was there in front of him, and how he survived lockdown. So this has happened when people who did that, they survived lockdown and they're still surviving. Even Rafiq has increased his shops around his locality. So it is doable. It is
Yeah,
a
yeah,
proven fact that
absolutely. I
it
think,
is doable. So they should do it.
yeah, absolutely. Like if you want to do something, because like for survival, you have to experiment. Like everything was
Mhm.
invented in this world by doing something, doing some experiment. We never expected the outcome. So maybe we
Mhm.
fail at some of the points, and then we maybe find some success. So I hope with this video, I think with your experience and your knowledge, I think it was a like it will be of great help to many people out there. And I hope that if any one of you know any shopkeepers, or if you want to implement and try these things out, please do let us know. And you can share your feedback, like how do you think that, if this is not the way, and so what is the way. So you can also share your comments, like your ideas, and we can actually have a broad discussion on these topics, because this is something which Dave has done his research, and he has tried to come up with. So let's see how it goes, and please let us know in the comments that if you think that this is actually be doable by someone who is just a simple shopkeeper. So thank you, Dave, for all
Thank
this
you.
information that you shared with
Thank
us.
you. It was a
And
pleasure. It was a pleasure.
yeah, and it was a very like interesting and like a very informative video that we had here, I think. And
Yeah,
I'm
I
looking
think we need
forward
to
to.
come up, yeah, with more and more videos like this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. I think because we're going to start the series, so maybe we come up with one video every week, and in every video we'll try to share some info on any of the very important topics. So let's see how it goes. And if you people do like the content, please like the video, and also a sub to the channel will be of great help. So I leave everything in the description of this video, the link to Devan's blog, and also to mention he's a budding writer, and he has authored 3 books as of now. And also he's a co-author of one of the anthology books. So I'll try to link everything in the description. So it was a pleasure to have Devan, and until then, everyone, please do follow all the COVID-19 guidelines as instructed by the government, because we need to uh, flatten the curve as soon as we can, because this is already out of control, but I think we cannot survive if it goes further out of control. So with this, I pray that every one of you stay safe during this very how to say, very difficult times. And please like keep take well care of your family members, and please try to follow all the guidelines. So hope to see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye, everyone.